What is going on, you guys? How are y'all doing today? This is going to be my new PC announcement video, if you will. Um, so let me give y'all a little backstory. So it is September the 1st right now while I'm shooting this. So about 3.5 months ago, I was looking in the mirror and I didn't like what I seen. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. And I was getting really big and stepped on a scale, and that was like, man, like the scale told me to get off. So that was really bad. So I decided to start running, and we have an awesome treadmill here at the house, like a commercial grade treadmill. So I started running on that while listening to music, but I kind of have like a little ADHD, if you will. Like that wasn't just enough, so I had to look at something also. So I went on YouTube and I tried to watch like pack breaks, like something that was, new and different. And I watched different pack breaks for a couple weeks, and then I started watching like high-end pack or case breaks. And so then I got bored with that. Well, I started watching, there's a channel, and I didn't write the name down before I started the camera. But there's a channel on YouTube that shows old school wrestling, like old school WWF wrestling. And it's funny because now my dogs are wrestling right here. It'll be like 1987 January. So everything that was televised 1987 January, they compress it into a 3-hour long YouTube video. And it's all like the highlights and the entire matches and the little shoot interviews they do. They're absolutely hilarious. And so I started watching that, and then it'd be like February of the same year and all the way up to December, and then boom, it'd be like the very next year. So what I'm getting at is there was a ton of videos. Well, when I was a kid, like 8 to around 14, I watched wrestling religiously in the Attitude Era with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock before he was Dwayne Johnson, if you will. Man, I was like die hard. And I didn't have a TV in my room, but my parents had one in their bedroom. So while they were watching TV in the living room, they'd let me sit on their bed and I would watch Monday Night Raw and just loved it. And then, like I said, 14, 15, I realized chicks don't really like dudes that watch wrestling. So I started collecting stuff that I knew just chicks loved, which was baseball cards. But chicks don't really like that either. I found that out the hard way. But I never went back to watching wrestling. Then you fast forward, my gosh, like 28 years to me running on this treadmill that I was telling you about. And it just brought up so much nostalgia to me. So much that one night I was sitting here I was at the desk here watching one of those events. My wife and daughter were watching a movie at night. And my wife looked at me and she's like, "Why are you smiling?" And I didn't even realize I was smiling. And I was watching old school match. It was like Ted DiBiase and Tatanka, I think. And I realized like then like my face was hurting because I've been smiling so long. So that's that. So the new PC is kind of like old school wrestling. Since then, I've decided to subscribe to the WWE Network, which is essentially $10 a month. And I know there's some of you that are like, "Oh, wrestling, it's fake, and you're right, it's fake. But what I would say, at the end of the day, what is professional baseball? What's professional basketball? What's professional hockey? What is movies? What is, like, some ladies I know love Pinterest. What is all that stuff? It's entertainment. You know what I mean? It's entertainment. So if you look at wrestling as it's strictly entertainment, you're not there to see anything real. It's basically a male soap opera. It's a movie. It's just entertaining to me. I think it's absolutely hilarious. And this past Sunday, like 2 days ago, my son and I Landon, our 10-year-old, watched the first pay-per-view that I've ever seen in my life, WWE Payback, which it was so cool to watch that with him, man. My youngest son, Corbin, was sitting on the couch back here, and he kept tapping my wife on the shoulder and going, is this fake? Is this fake? Mama, are you sure this is fake? Because he was seeing these dudes get the crap beat out of them, and some of them looked kind of scary. And it was so funny, man. And my son Landon never batted an eye. Like, he was just zoomed in. So it was very, very cool moment for he and I. Another reason that I want to get into wrestling, and by all means, I'm not stopping NFL Hall of Fame autographs. I'm not stopping TTM. This is kind of an addition to, is like the holy grail of wrestling cards is the 1982 Wrestling All-Stars Hulk Hogan. It's the holy grail. It's the Bronco Nagorski. It's the Honus Wagner. It's the Michael Jordan. In that card, you can get it for around $1,500, and that's right now in this inflated age. $1,500, and you can get the creme de la creme, the freaking cream on top card in the wrestling hobby. And you know, right behind it is the 1982 Wrestling All-Stars Ric Flair. And that, I mean, it's right behind it. It's like $1,200 or so. But, you know, it's not the Michael Jordan rookie or the Wayne Gretzky rookie or the Honus Wagner rookie, where some of us could collect our entire lives and never be able to afford some of those cards. This is a card that if I saved hard enough for a couple months and didn't buy anything silly, I could buy. And like, that's really, really cool to me. So that's that. I want to talk about some of my favorite wrestlers while I have y'all here. So I've always been a fan of kind of the heels, kind of the bad guys. That's wrestling talk for bad guys as heels. Like the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, is my all-time favorite wrestler. I don't know why. He was a pompous ass. He was arrogant. Just very cocky. And it's kind of like everything I believe that a person shouldn't be is kind of my favorite wrestler embodies all those traits, which I think is kind of ironic. But another one of my favorites is the Honky Tonk Man. Another freaking kind of jerk. Just a turd, really. The Undertaker. That would probably be my favorite wrestler that is like big time. Like, I'm not a big Hulk Hogan guy. I'm not a big Ric Flair guy. Ultimate Warrior guy. But as far as the most popular wrestlers of all time and who is my favorite, who I would like to collect, I definitely say Undertaker's probably at the top of that list. Not my favorite. He's definitely on the Mount Rushmore, though, for me. And then another one that I think is funny, and I used to not like him at all as a kid because he scared me, was Doink the Clown. And I started liking Doink a couple months ago when I was on the treadmill running and watching him freaking do all these gags on all these other wrestlers. So I have bought for about a week now, 7 to 10 days, I've been collecting and buying stuff, and so I'm gonna have a whole lot of wrestling cards coming in. But that's the beauty of it. It's my hobby, and look at this. I'm happy, and I'm not just doing this because you're watching. It truly tickled to death to do this. I'm debating if I want to do the 1982 Wrestling All-Stars set. There's even PSA set registries for wrestling. There's quite a bit of them, actually. And there's a 1983 Wrestling All-Stars that has like the Jake the Snake Roberts rookie, which I think is pretty cool. I'd say he's probably like in my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. And another great thing is, like, wrestlers didn't make a ton of money back in the day, and maybe the ones that did maybe used it on drugs or women or whatever, whatever vices they had. But they sign autographs all the time at signings, paid signings. Some of them even sign TTM. So example, I don't think these dogs are going to stop. Example is Dutch Mantel went on to be called Zeb Coulter also. Dirty Dutch Mantel is in the 1982 Wrestling All-Star set. Well, he has a signing coming up September the 15th. Well, I bought 2 of his 1982 Wrestling All-Star cards to send off, and they're $25 each signed. And wrestling, for the most part, now, unless you're talking about the mega stars like the Undertakers and the Hogans and the Flairs, they don't charge you for inscriptions. You know what I mean? So where you could go get, I mean, heck, any of these dudes, like Dave Stewart just did a signing where he was $39, and then he wanted another $15 for an inscription. You know, so there's just a lot of small things on why I think it's cool, why it's going to be fun. I might even pick up some of the old school wrestling action figures. Y'all ever remember, did y'all ever have any of the the giant rubber figures that they stayed like this, and like to fight them you had to grab them by their waist and like hit and punch like that? I did. I absolutely freaking loved them. I thought they were the coolest thing ever. I might pick up some of those and put up here right now, right above me. I have a bunch of basically my favorite NFL players of all time on starting lineups in a glass shelf about yay big, about the width of my shoulders. And above it is an empty shelf. I might fill that up with wrestling figures. I don't know. All I know is there's no wrong way to collect this. I'm freaking excited. I've been babbling almost 12 minutes now about it. It just makes me happy, dude. And that is what this thing is all about, for pleasure, right? So that is that. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm sorry I didn't show off any cards. Till next time, adios, be safe. Toodles. Hashtag my hobby. Hashtag it's your hobby. Enjoy it, people. It's for pleasure. Peace out.